This idea of dimensions sounds very far out there, but it's really relatively simple. We can say in life, the life that most of us experience, that there are 4 dimensions. The physical dimension, what we know and feel. Then there is the emotional dimension. Those are our feelings. Those are not physical, but we certainly know what they are. The difference between anger, sadness, and joy is dramatic, but it's not on the physical level, it's on the emotional level, and we can call that a different dimension. It's a different sphere of energy. Scientists would say it operates in a different frequency bandwidth. Then there is the mental dimension. Thoughts, knowledge. Certainly we know that exists, but again, it's not physical. We can express it in writing, and the writing may be physical, the ink on the paper, but the knowledge itself is at another dimension, which we'll call the mental dimension. Then there is the spirit or soul dimension, the 4th dimension. This is probably the most esoteric. We know it exists. We can feel someone's spirit. This is sometimes what we sense intuitively. When the phone rings and we know who it is, we can sense that person's spirit behind the ring. This is where you hear many phenomenal stories of a mother sensing her baby who may be across town or even across the planet, and she can sense her baby is sick or something's wrong. Well, that occurs at the spiritual dimension. Some people would call that an energy cord between the mother and the baby. Regardless of what you call it, there is a spiritual connection. There's a famous experiment that they did in Russia with baby rabbits and atomic submarines. These submarines could go deep under the ocean, under the polar ice caps. And they held an experiment where they had baby rabbits aboard a submarine, and they had the mother rabbit in a laboratory in Siberia, thousands of miles away. The submarine is deep under the ocean. And at military precise time, they killed the baby rabbits. And immediately at that same exact time, the mother's rabbit started going berserk, panicking, frantic. That is beyond coincidence. That is proof that there is a connection between the two. Now, I do not condone these types of experiments, but let's not miss the learning from what they discovered here. Many times when 2 people have a heart connection, or we might even say a soul connection, of which the heart is part of, they can sense each other's energy regardless of distance. Now, we call this spiritual dimension a dimension in of its own, but in reality, in this spirit world, it is of many, and we can even say infinite dimensions that are beyond the physical, emotional, and mental that we all know. Understanding dimensions is very powerful when it comes to healing, as you'll see later on in this book.